Arms past is hyperextension. Rule number one, the rule of torque, is whenever you're in flexion, you always need to be in external rotation. Okay, knee out is external rotation of the hip. Standing duck feet and going knee in is internal rotation. This position, also called going valgus, is the same thing as having your elbow out on a push-up. This is internal rotation. The easiest way to think about this is thumbs down. Boo, right? Bad news. Thumbs up is good. And so what I do is I have a client, go ahead and stick out your right fist. Go like this for me. You grab their fist, and I say, try to break my grip by twisting your arm clockwise. Twist it clockwise. Oh, that's counterclockwise. So there we go. And see what that feels like in the shoulder. That's a solid shoulder joint. Now twist it counterclockwise. That's a bad shoulder. And then you say, let me bend you at your elbow. And you say, let me bend you at your elbow. This was your push-up, which I usually have them perform push-up beforehand. 99% of the time, they push up like this. You have them twist that and pull it out. This doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, and then instantly when you do it, I feel it right there in my elbow. As soon as that pressure.
Yeah, and make them bend their elbow and say, this was your push-up. Good. And then, here, I'll do it again. Twist it clockwise. Clockwise. There we go. And I'm going to say, bend. Let me bend your elbow. Say, this is the push-up I want. This is a solid position. And they start to understand without loading themselves on the ground. Because it can be hard. With one client, had him on the box, he couldn't even go down. I had to have him start on his knees and say, press out. A lot of people do not know what this feels like.
So the question here is, if you get them in position, what if they can't do a push-up? Where you start them at then?
So someone's not strong enough to do a push-up. For one, and this will be a lot of the first time people hear this, I hate knee push-ups. I don't hate them because they're easy. I hate them because it takes away one of the primary stabilization muscles, which is the butt. Your butt is the first muscle group that stabilizes the pelvis. When I'm here, you want to establish a solid push-up position, you flex your butt. Try flexing your butt when your knees are on the ground. It doesn't work as well. Try flexing your butt when you're sitting. You can't. Okay? This is why posture sucks. When you sit, this is why sitting is the new smoking, because you can't flex your butt. You're relying on your abdominals to keep your spine vertical. So if I don't allow knee push-ups, what do? We have these big boxes. Maybe you can raise your body up. You've got a wall, just let everyone do push-ups. So, I mean, you can do it right there. You just lean against the wall, and again.
What's the cues for this?
So the cue to, again, thumbs down is bad, thumbs up is good. In other words, I want to see that elbow pit. I want to talk about the elbow pit. We're just talking about the armpits. Elbow pit, when it comes to the wall, it's going to be facing up. If you're on the ground, the elbow pit will be facing forward, or elbows facing back.
So, what's my hand placement on my side?
Your hands will be right about underneath the shoulders. If you're on the ground, your hands are underneath the shoulders. That can always change. That's a very standard position. A lot of times someone will go straight down. In that case, I'll move the hands back. So if I'm here and someone doesn't know they're not good at push-ups, and then they go kind of straight down like this, or they do the bobbing for apples push-ups. These are really funny.
Yep. I call it close.
Those are bobbing for apple push-ups. Raise them up. That means they can't do a push-up. Okay? If their back is going down, these are solid push-ups. So for one, first way you fix that is not to raise up. Is first see if they're going through the bracing sequence. Have them flex their butt. Okay?
Demonstrate.
Yeah, so you simply push through the ground. Okay, these are called scapular push-ups. We can raise our body about 4 inches just by moving our scapula. I want someone to push through the ground, raise themselves all the way up. At first, this will seem weird for people because you'll see a slight rounding between your scapula. I'm fine with that. I don't want rounding in the lower back. I want rounding right here. Flex your butt. Okay, that'll prevent about 50% of butt sagging. If they flex their butt, but truly they're just not strong enough, raise them up on buttocks. We'll have someone feel what this is like. Again, that classic cue is screw into the ground, especially when they're pushing up out of it, right? And it's the same thing. A lot of people, they won't have tons of problems with knees going on the way down. It's right on the way up when you'll see this guy, right? Duck feet, right on the way up. Oh yeah. You see the same thing, push up. They'll be fairly solid here, and then, right? Just fun little worm push-ups. So you'll see the same thing, and this makes it easier to remember. Think about these guys. They're the same joints. It's the same kind of movement.
Push-up.
Yeah. So again, rule of torque. Number one, whenever you're in flexion, you have to be in external rotation. If you're in extension, leg comes back. So if you're going for a punch, you can go internal. That's not breaking the rule. I'm not in flexion anymore. I'm in hyperextension or extension. That's rule of torque number two. It's good to think about these things because you can't disagree with them. So, rule of torque.
And then with that being said, even when I'm teaching it, I have 12, 13-year-old athletes that think they can do push-ups and will correct it immediately in 15 to 20 minutes, if that. And I just give a few basic cues. Let's get in push-up position. I want your hands right underneath your shoulders. Right here. Am I there?
Yeah.
Pinning my heels together. My gaze will be straight down. I have a torso alignment as far as cervical, thoracic, lumbar. Is it there? If it's not, it's correct. So then my cues are from here. Let's pin your heels together. Let's contract the glutes or squeeze your butt cheeks. And then brace your stomach for a punch. And then I'll get into the screwing mechanism. And you'll see I'll stabilize instantly once I start to screw. And we'll just get used to that. And then for me, what I personally do, I'll make this all part of our dynamic normal. The reason why is I'm bracing the core, especially on squat days or any Olympic lifting, where I know we're going to have our core really rigid. We're getting ready for that movement pattern right now as far as bracing the core, screwing the hands. Sometimes we'll do box touches, kettlebell touches in the warm-up, preparing for the movement, and then I added all the other dynamic stuff, 5 or 10 minutes into the warm-up. So again, I'll get them here. A few cues. Let's pin the heels together, squeeze the glutes, brace the core for a punch, and screw the hands. And when we do that whole push-up, you should be able to see my elbow pins. Mike, can you see my elbow pins from there? So I'm here. Now if I come out here, like what you might see in Muscle and Fitness magazine or on the main floor, and if you notice, if you come out here, you can't contract your glutes. So my feet are out. And as soon as I come out here with my elbows, I feel it instantly. It's subtle, but I feel it. So imagine if you're doing your bench press here. I'm still breaking that habit. Years long, 10, 15-year-old habits, where every now and then I still tweak my shoulder and I have to ask myself, what was I doing? Was I going back into one of my inefficient movement patterns? When I do it right, I'm more explosive. I might have to go down to lower weight, and then the strength will come back up, but then I'm being safe. And that's the whole point. It's safety, teaching your clients something that they can do, and then that they're going to learn something for the rest of their life. Anything else?
I would just say, when it comes to this big cage here, you have an endless variety of heights for a push-up. And some of you guys are already doing that. You can raise the bar up, have someone do push-ups on the bar, and you have all these little poles, which are nice, from Westside Barbell Measurements. You can put it. You can put it at any point. I would recommend use these guys for push-ups. Another thing that correlates to squat with push-up is, just like we talked about in the beginning, you want vertical shins. Okay? This is a good way to translate it over to the overhead press. Vertical shins is also vertical forearm. Okay? You want a vertical forearm when you do any kind of pressing. Most people screw this up majorly, especially when you get to handstand push-ups, because they put their hands here. If you do a handstand push-up with your hands, which most of you aren't going to do, but it's a good example. Handstand push-up with your hands next to your head automatically pushes elbows out. You got them in the tripod position, which makes it also similar to a push-up. With your hands here and the forearms stay vertical. With the press, okay? The first thing you'll see when someone gets the bar here is the elbows come back. If elbows comes back, guess where that arm goes? It's going out. T-ship center of mass between the shoelaces and the heel bone. You want to keep that bar as close to the center of mass as humanly possible. So bring those elbows forward, move the head back, and try to keep these forearms vertical. You'll see most people screw up, especially when you take it unilateral to a one-arm press. The first thing you'll see, they'll press it up, and you'll see this guy. They want to raise their elbow up and have that bar go straight up overhead. When it comes to one-arm presses, think about that rule, vertical forearm. The weight has to move out and then back over that heel. Almost every time you'll see this guy. And I always tell people, what's stronger, tricep push down or bench press? Of course, bench press is stronger.